So, hi Tara, how are you this afternoon?
I'm alright, how about you?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's
So,
good.
my name's Victoria Stewart. I'm one of the educators here at the TAFE, and I know you're applying for recognition of prior learning.
I sure am.
Okay, I've looked over your portfolio. I'm very satisfied with what I've seen so far. So, we're going for recognition of prior learning on work with diverse people, which is unit code CHCDIV001. Just got a few questions I want to ask you, and verbal answers are fine.
Yep.
But I know you've done some research on this, so we'll start. And now, these questions, they're designed to collect evidence of your experience relating it to the performance criteria within this element.
Yep.
So the questions I've asked are going to help determine whether you're eligible for recognition of prior learning.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to go with question 1. What is an example of cultural perspectives?
Well, a cultural perspective is viewing a situation or concept through the eyes of an individual's native environment and social influence. So, for example, when creating a product, in this instance, such as continence pads and other personal care items, it is important to consider the cultural perspective of the different groups of people who may use or need it.
Very well, very good. So, especially when it comes to continence aids, there are different cultures who are a bit more, I'm not sure the word I'm looking for, but a bit more fussy when it comes to the use and how to use them and when to use them.
Exactly.
And a lot of families want to be involved in that decision. So that's a really good answer. Okay, question 2. What are some characteristics of a culturally safe workplace?
Well, a culturally safe workplace, well, you have to treat everyone with dignity.
Yes.
You have to respect everyone's culture, language, knowledge, experience, and obligations to each other.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to provide pathways to empowerment and self-determination.
Yes.
Allow people to promote, develop, and maintain the traditions, procedures, and practices, and acknowledge individual differences as well.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned traditions there, because when it comes to different traditions, I'm going to use the Aboriginal people as an example here. They want to involve all their elders, and they have their own special group of people that are usually involved in their care. So it's a really good answer. Okay, so how would you demonstrate diversity and inclusion?
Well, I would personally develop a cultural calendar to include everyone and address the communication barriers that people might have as well.
Absolutely.
And acknowledge the holidays and traditions of all of them that they care for and that we care for as well. And just make sure that we acknowledge it all and know about it all and be very aware of that.
Absolutely, that's a great answer. 'Cause lately, a lot of Muslim people are coming through the aged care sector, and their traditions, cultures, and special calendar days are many. So keeping that calendar is a great idea. Very, very good idea. Another good way is to have just cards on their doors of basic, this is how you say hello in their language and things like that. So, yeah, good answer. Okay, so question 4. What are 5 methods of communication?
So you have verbal, non-verbal, written, listening, and visual communication.
That's exactly right. I like it. That's good. Just because, especially when you've got verbal, non-verbal, body language tells you pretty much all you need to know most of the time. Really, it's the frustration and the happiness.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, a lot of our communication actually comes from our body language. Okay, question number 5. How do you communicate with a resident with a language barrier?
You can use an interpreter.
Yes, absolutely.
You can use hand signals, picture cues, written material so they can write down what they want and then you can communicate it that way.
Yes.
And you should never assume that the resident has understood you. You always want to make sure that they repeat it back to you.
That's great.
So you know.
Absolutely.
That you're on the same page.
That's exactly right. And in my experience, I found that cue cards, picture cards, are probably the best asset you have when it comes to communication, because the pictures are the same in every single language. A picture of a cup with water in it is the same everywhere.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So list 5 ways you would reduce conflict in an organization.
Well, you treat everyone fairly.
Yeah.
You provide conflict resolution training, so then people have the materials that are needed to resolve that.
Absolutely.
You create an environment that encourages participation rather than singling people out.
Absolutely.
And ensure that all employees are clear about organizational goals and priorities.
Absolutely.
So-
And then that also comes down to protocols and procedures.
Exactly, yeah.
Excuse me. So that's a great answer. Another way I've found the best way, or a good way to reduce conflict, is you can feel tension before it comes out verbally.
Exactly.
Again with the body language. So if you start to feel tension, you know, okay, this might be a bit of a conflict happening here. So to nip it in the bud before it even starts. Great answers. I'm very impressed with your work and all your documentation you've given me, as well as the third party report from your employer. So I've got everything I need. I will go over all your evidence, and I'll get back to you within a week with a decision.
Perfect.
Excellent. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your time.
Thank you.